Alrighty, hello everyone, we're here for a tier list video, the first of its kind on the channel. We have here a blank tier list. We're going to be ranking all of the full art supporter cards. Now you see them all right here. And the ones it's missing are from the sets Dark Phantasma, which we have pulled up right here. We have Pokemon Go full art supporters pulled up right here. We have the Lost Abyss full art supporters put up right here, and the Incandescent Arcana ones pulled up right here, and we'll talk about those once we get to those. But for the rest of them, we can just use this tier list provided here. Now you may know there are no rainbows on here. If I were to rank all of the rainbows, all but like one or two of them would go below F tier because Rainbow Rare supporters are the worst decision that Pokemon Company's made for creating full art supporters in quite a long time. I actually despise them. Pulling them from a pack is basically like getting a water balloon thrown at my face and laughed at, so I never want to pull one again. Please discontinue them in Gen 9 TCG. Regarding that, let's just get started. I wish they were more organized. I'd like to do them, you know, in a way where I could do them like chronologically, but guess that's just not happening with how things are laid out in this case. So we're starting here with some ones from Brilliant Stars. VMAX Climax is the order of it right here. And we have the Acerolas Premonition, and we are going to go ahead and throw that in B tier. I dropped it in A for a second there. It's actually a B tier supporter though. There's not really a lot going on in the supporter card, but it's not bad. Acerola is obviously a very cute character. It's a very fun effect actually. It's not a great card, but I have used it in one of my Eggrow decks actually to draw out of dead hands. It's quite good there. Not a bad artwork though. If you like Acerola, I'm sure you're very happy about that supporter card. We have Alistair here, the VMAX Climax print. I'm going to also put that in B. It's far better than the original print. I like the Dusk Ball on there. It's quite cool. Nothing else to really say about that card. Not like spectacular or anything though. We have the Kabu here, a little bit less cool. Kabu's just not that cool of a character like Alistair is. He's just kind of throwing his Ultra Ball out. He's got his, you know, Centiskorch, and Kabu's just kind of just not a very cool character for this. We have the Galar Friends. This one goes in definite A tier. It's not as good as the Alola Friends, but it is still a good follow-up. I just love these ones where there's like multiple people on the card. It's quite cool. We have Raihan right here. Raihan's going to go in A as well. I actually really like this Raihan card. It's much better than the one we have in Evolving Skies, which is right here, and we're just going to, for now, just throw it in. Is it even B? No, honestly, it's C. I just don't like it. It's so static, right? He's just standing there. There's nothing going on. I like this one a lot better. He's like in a cool action pose throwing 2 Ultra Balls. If you played the game, you know that he does double battles as a specialty, which was one of the few redeeming factors of the Sword and Shield games is Raihan and his double battle. He's probably, I don't know, is he the coolest gym leader in that game? Probably. He's up there at like top 1 or 2 with like B, Gordy, and him. Those are like the 3 coolest gym leaders from those games. Pokemon Sword's the better version, by the way. We have Cook here. Cook is our first D tier supporter. It just, like, did it need a full art? I'm going to be real with you, like, did it need one? It's just kind of very underwhelming. I just don't think anyone would really want to pull this card out of their box. I think they're pretty sad if they pull this. He's not a character anyone likes, he's just a random NPC. Yeah, we have B here, another C tier one. I do like B as a character, but this card is just like not very good. The background just looks kind of underwhelming in my opinion. Like this has got the cool purple background, this one's got the cool yellow background. This one's just got like a weird like fighting colored background. I don't love it. So C tier it goes. We have Judge here. I actually quite like this one. Choosing between these it's not as good as these guys up here, so we'll put it in B tier. It's quite nice. I do like Judge as a card as well, but this card is also just very cool. Very dynamic pose with Judge there blowing a whistle. Judge is of course a great card all the way back in 2010 when it was originally printed. Was an absolutely fantastic card in 2010 and 2011. Obviously saw a reprint in the XY era and in the Sun and Moon era, and now in the Sword and Shield era as well. If you want to, you know, keep talking about Judge, you could technically talk about the original print Oracle, which came around in 2003, also a great card. We have Shield Word and Sword Swampert, I think their name. I probably got that wrong. These guys is F tier. These are like the ugliest characters in like the entire Pokemon franchise. I don't know why they exist. I just really hate these characters. I mean, they're not meant to be likable. I get that, but they didn't need to exist. Sword and Shield are not great games, and the post game is like a real downer on that because these guys just do not make a good post game. Piers here, we're going to go ahead and throw into B tier as well. I almost thought about giving it A tier, but it's just not as cool as the Raihan one. But Piers is a quite fun card to use as well, so I'll probably be picking some of these up when it does come out on PTCGO for my decks. I really like that Piers card, just throwing the Dusk Ball. He's got a really cool pose going on. It's a dark background. Quite a big fan of that. We have Professor Burnett here, kind of a C tier supporter. Not really doing anything. Professor Burnett, I don't really think needed a full art. They just give all of the supporters full arts nowadays. It's just kind of there. Doesn't really stand out, anything like that. That's kind of the C tier. They're not like bad, but they don't stand out. D and F and Rainbow Rare supporters are obviously the worst ones in this case. So here we have Professor Juniper, and I'm going to go ahead and put Professor Juniper all the way up in A+, our first A+. This is Professor Research Juniper, one of the best full art supporters of the Sword and Shield era. Just an incredible card. I got this in English and Japanese. I own like 6 copies in English now because they're pretty cheap. And they're just, it feels so good to play this card on PTCGO. It feels so good to own them in real life. I just absolutely love the card. It's very fun, very vibrant. The art by Yu Nishida is quite good. I'm glad they hired her onto the art team for Pokemon. Great card. Adventurer's Discovery, we're just going to go ahead and put that in B tier. I do quite like it. Adventurer's Discovery, I wasn't really expecting this to be like a supporter printed, and I was kind of surprised when I got a full art too in VMAX Climax, but it is a cool card. I do like the pose, and I think it's cool that she's like, ooh, holding up a, thing that she discovered. It's quite cool. I don't like the card effect, but I do like that full art. So here we have the biggest downgrade of all time. We have Boss's Orders, Lysander. We're going to put that in C tier. I mean, they just didn't do anything cool with Lysander. You're going to see when we see the other Lysander full art, and it's like, yeah, that's a cool card. This just not so much. I'm just not a huge fan of this Lysander card in particular. Opal here, it's not as bad as the other Opal, but I just don't like Opal at all. Pulling Opal from a pack is a huge insult, and I don't think anyone would want to do it. Gordy here is going to go into B tier as well. He's got a really cool pose in this card. I really like Gordy. A lot of people don't, but Gordy's one of the cooler gym leaders. It's got a really sick pose here. It's got really dynamic, really in the card frame, and I really like the card. It'd be a card I'd like to pull. Cafe Master here, another F tier card. I just don't know who would want this. Like, the art is fine. You're not going to find many full art supporters where like the art is like not likable. It's just really, really boring. Like, why does this card exist? Who wants to pull this? Here we have Single Strike Mustard, another one I'm going to put in D tier. This one's just really underwhelming as a whole. I just really don't like this one, especially compared to the Rapid Strike one. It's very static, and I don't really like Mustard as a character in general, so I don't feel a lot of connection to this card in a way other people might. It's his younger version, but he's kind of dressed up in this really goofy outfit. It doesn't look good, so I was never a big fan. I have the Rapid Strike one. We're going to go ahead and put that into B tier. I wasn't really sold on this card until I got it in person. It has a really dynamic angle, and he's kind of just kicking the frame, and it's got a lot really nice colors. All the Rapid Strike cards really do for the like alternate art Rapid Strike cards. They look great. And this kind of follows that same thing with the blues and the yellows and full garb, and it just looks great. Absolutely love the card. This Melanie full art, it's okay. We're going to put it in C tier. I'm just not big on this one. The blue background is nice, but it's not really as good as any of these or as bad as any of these. It's just like an okay card. Milo as well, pretty much just an okay card. I do like it better than the other Milo, but the other Milo's not really that great either, so. We have Gloria here. Gloria is actually really good. I believe this is, it's either Yu Nishida or Atsuko Nishida. Let me look that up real quick, just to make sure I'm giving proper credit where it's due. It's one of those two, though, I'm pretty sure. Or, no, it's Naoki Saito, isn't it? Yep, it is. I'm just checking. It's Naoki Saito. My bad. Very colorful card. Very good pose. You can see the root sign in the background. We're going to put this in A. This is a card I'd like to have someday. Probably won't, just because I don't open many packs, but it's a cool card. This Nessa is actually a bit disappointing, because the other Nessa full art's quite nice, very blue. This one's just kinda... I mean, it's a cool pose, but like I don't really like the way that she's drawn in this specific card. We're going to put in D. It's one of my least favorite of these Trainer Gallery ones, and this is actually all of VMAX Climax. These cards right here are just VMAX Climax cards. Isn't that crazy? Oh, besides Raihan, that we kind of accelerated on that one. So, Bridget is quite a sick card. When I first got back into collecting, because I took a 2-year hiatus from 2014 to 2016, got back in 2016 around the release of Steam Siege. This card, I was really excited to buy it. I was buying full art trainers because they were very cheap. This was around $3 back then, not anymore. It's before it jumped up in playability because of the GXs being released. It's one of my favorite cards to do on PTCGO as well. I can't in good heart, though, like say this is like that amazing of an art, though, because the background's kind of boring and the pose is just a static pose. But it is still one of my favorites. I gotta put it in A tier at least. Anything for like A and above is like a card that I love quite a bit. We have Giovanni's Exile here. This card, like, well, it's terrible, and I don't think it really saw any play from what I remember, other than the fact you can burst Seeker for it. It does have a really cool pose. I love Ken Sugimori artwork, supporters, so we're also going to put that in A. I don't even like Giovanni, by the way. Giovanni is not one of my favorite characters, and, like, that card is just cool enough where you have to give it the respect it deserves. We have Copycat from Evolving Skies. This card is severely underwhelming. Like, I like Sanosuke Sakuma's work, but I don't like this card in particular. We're just gonna put it in C tier. It's very average. It's got some cool, like, Copycat references on there to, like, the fact that Copycat dresses up as other people. But when you put it next to the other Copycat, it's such a downgrade in that way. I feel like it could probably be, like, a B if, like, I didn't know about the other Copycat, but, like, by itself, maybe a B, but, like, when I know the other Copycat, I have to compare it to that, and the other Copycat's way better. Schoolboy's a D. I don't know who would want to pull the Schoolboy or Schoolgirl cards from packs. They're just not exciting at all. The poses are kind of just there and boring. They're like these no-name NPCs, and they're some of the least interesting NPCs. Like, if we're gonna get NPC cards, can we at least get ones that are around, like, the Ace Trainers or the Ruin Maniacs or Veterans, the really cool NPC classes, not this... like this 5th grader, bro. It's not very exciting. Zinnia's Resolve is a perfectly decent card. I'm gonna put it in B. I quite like the pose that they're making. The background looks nice. I think it looks a lot worse when you like compare it to like the other like alternate art Rayquaza in the set. I'm quite a big fan of that card. Did pull it, but like it's cool to have both of them when you put them together, I suppose. And I quite like this card, so I can't rate it any lower than B. Can't give it any higher though, because it's not like a stunning card. I warmed up to this card a little. The background's a little just kind of on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a... We're going to give it a C. I can't in good heart put it down with these cards. It is cool. It's got the Amora on there and the 2 scientists from X and Y. It's got that nice blue tinge to it. I've warmed up a little to this card since the last time I made this video. Blacksmith here is actually quite a cool card. I love that it has Embor on the card, and I love the Blacksmith character right here just with an Embor. It makes a lot of sense. We're going to go ahead and put this in A tier. I just really like the card. It's one of my favorite that I just have in my binder. So, I mean, I have a lot of ones in my binder. I guess it's not one of the favorite because I have like 24 that are more favorite than it, but you know, it's still a great card. Full Art Getsis is a really sick card. Nothing really much going on with the background, just kind of blue, but that's how all of the Plasma cards are in that way. Big fan of this card. We're going to also give Getsis A tier. The pose is quite cool. Getsis is also a really cool character, so you can't really go wrong in that regard. I believe this was done by Kanako Ayo. It's not like her usual very cartoony style that she does for her other illustrations. Think like Ponyta from Arceus, but like still a very cool card. Roseanne's research was also drawn by her, so credit there. Xerosic, it's got a cool background, it's got a cool pose, but Xerosic literally, he's a clown, dude. I mean, can't give it D tier. We'll give it C tier. Like I said, it's still got a cool purple background. Still got a cool pose. It's just a goofy card. I don't know why they needed this clown man to exist in Team Flare, but I guess that he does. We actually have the Acerola. We never got this in English. It's like a several $1,000, I think almost 10 grand in Japan to get this card. It's a promo from a limited sealed tournament. It's not a bad card. We're gonna put it in B tier. I don't really love the card in particular. Acerola is not one of my favorite characters, so like this card doesn't really do much for me. It is much better than the other Acerola full art from the era though, so I'll give it credit there. Aether Foundation employee. It's got a cool background. I like the Aether Foundation employee design, but it just doesn't do anything else. So we're gonna put it in C tier. It's one of the higher ones in C tier. I'd say it's probably better than all of these, but it's not as good as any of the ones in B tier. I did pull this one, but I was not happy to pull it when there's like other cards in Hidden Fates that are so much cooler to pull, like the Cynthia, the Guzma, stuff like that. Agatha full art. We have another F. This might just be a personal grudge. I've pulled 2 of this card, and it's in the same set as Caitlyn full art, which is a card I do want to pull. There's also Peonia, Clara, Peony. Lots of useful cards in the set that I'd rather pull. I pulled an Avery recently, so that's something. This Agatha I hate with every fiber of my being. In fact, I think we're going to put it into the Rainbow Rare supporters, because Cafe Master I at least feel okay about pulling that card. I feel sick to my stomach when I think about the fact that I've pulled 2 Agatha. It's really just really bad. We have another Alistair here. This one's less cool though than the VMAX Climax print. Just gonna go on D tier. It doesn't really do much for me. This print has like the Dusk Ball and all the purples and pinks in it. This one's just kinda, he's there, you know. Alola Friends, another great card. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier as well. It's better than, I gotta go A+. It's so good. It's better than Galar Friends, that's for sure. I just looked at A tier and I was like, there's nothing in A tier that's as good as Alola Friends. It's such a great looking card, the fireworks in the background. The little characters are very endearing. All of them on here except How. I'm not a big How fan. I don't think anyone is, to be fair. Just a very cool card. One I wish I could own, but I don't have several thousands of dollars to give up, and we never got it in English. We have the Capricorn Maker here. It's a card I really want. It's really cheap too, so like I've been thinking about buying it off of my friend. We're just gonna put this in B tier though. It's a very cool card. I like the oranges in there. I like Sunkern quite a bit. Sunkern's a cool Pokemon. Aroma Lady. I have a little bit of bias here. The artist for this, N. Morikura, I believe his name is. I might have butchered that just a little. He's been doing some of the best full art. They've literally hired him just to draw full art ladies. That's all he's done since he started, or since they started illustrating. They might be a woman as well. But all of their ones are fantastic. I'm ashamed that I don't own this card yet. It goes in A+. The art is just fantastic. Aroma Lady is also... This is an NPC class that people are going to get a little bit more excited about than, for instance, Schoolboy, Schoolgirl, and Cook, which are like, why would they make cards of these? I don't know. We have Avery here, kind of a lame pose on this. I am excited I pulled it the other day though. Maybe I'm getting a little bit high on that. I'm going to give it a C tier. Maybe I'd give it D tier on another day because the pose is kind of boring. Just kind of a blue sky background. But Avery's not like that cool of a character, but it's not bad. Beauty Full Art, otherwise known as like one of the worst full art supporters of all time. Why did they print this card? I don't know. There it goes. Another random trainer class that like no one's going to care about. We have the better version of B here, and I think that just goes in B tier. Haha, pun not really intended. This one is a lot better. I like the little aura that's going around her. She's going for like the violent kick. Very cool card. I wish I could own it. I probably never will. It's not that expensive, I just don't really give myself the opportunity. Have the B full art here. Kind of a colorful card, so I'll give it that, but it doesn't really do much else for me. We're going to put it in C tier. Bede's a cool character, but I wish you'd get a better, like cooler full art, more dynamic, maybe with like a Hatterene on it or something like that. We have Belelba and Bryson Man, one of the not VMAX Finance. This is Tag All-Stars cards that we did not get. This one's not one of the most impressive ones, but it's still pretty cool. Shout out to people who play Black and White 2. That's the only reason you'd know these characters. Belelba is actually Sabrina from Generation 1, but she's in like her acting mode kind of there, so put it in A tier. It's still quite a cool card, very dynamic pose back to back with each other. I've played the Bryson Man mission. I don't remember if Belelba was the villain or not in another mission. I played like about half of the movies in Pokestar at one point, but it was years ago. We have the Bill's Analysis full art. This one's just really boring. Or not Bill's Analysis, it's Bill's Maintenance. It's cool that I like the Celestial Storm reprints and that they just reprinted old cards and then gave some of them full arts, because we got things like the Underground Expedition full art and the Copycat full art, but this one's kind of just, man, I wish it didn't get reprinted. Why couldn't they have reprinted like Oracle or, what's the other one? The Desert Shaman's the one that shuffles draw 4. Oracle stacks 2 on the top. So Oracle, Desert Shaman, those are the cards I would have wanted to see more than Bill's Maintenance. We have Blaine's Last Stand, I believe this one is. I believe it's Blaine's Last Stand. This one's actually pretty good. I'm going to give it B tier. It's got Mitsuhiro Arita artwork, which works pretty well for Blaine. The background doesn't really do anything for me, but it's just a really cool pose. Really striking coloring on it, so I quite like that. I'm no like art aficionado, but I do quite like that one. We have both Blues strategy here. Regular Blues strategy I'm going to put in C tier. It's colorful, but it doesn't really do anything for me. This one, though, is a little bit better. It's got the Charmander on there. I quite like it when you put it together with the other ones. Let's just see if we can find the other one since we're here. It makes a little bit of a picture. If I can find them. Any day now. Well, I guess when I get there, I will show it off. I cannot find them in that sea of images. Boss's Orders, Giovanni. This card is really boring. Simply said, doesn't do anything for me. What even is the background? D tier. I like this one better. This is like, I like when they had like ambiguous backgrounds, but they were cool colors. Now they just have like ambiguous backgrounds. It's just random blurred images a lot of the times. So when you don't do good on the background and you don't make a cool pose, it's just, you know, this is a better pose, better illustration in my opinion. We have Brawly here. This card's okay. I like the like fists going, but like doesn't really do much for me. C tier. Brock's Grit. This card's actually quite cool. It's the Evolutions reprint set. I like the way they did the full art trainers and set with the gold border. Quite cool. We're gonna give that B tier. Even though this one by Naoki Saito is nice, I do prefer this one. So we'll go ahead and throw that in C. Bruno doesn't really do anything for me. He's not like bad, but we'll give him C as well. It's a cool pose, but like Bruno's just not that exciting for me. Oh, we've reached a first. So, for those of you who don't know, Caitlyn is my favorite character in the entire Pokemon franchise. That's a human. I obviously like Celebi and Whimsicott like just as much. And specifically, and Murikura, the same person who did the Aroma Lady, decided to be commissioned. This is before they did Aroma Lady. They did Caitlyn. Caitlyn is one of the best full art trainers of all time. It is undisputable. It is a gorgeous card. I would have bought like 40 copies if not for the pandemic making the price get super hyped. It's one of the best full art trainers of all time. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that. We have Chandler here, kind of a random NPC class, but it is at least a cool looking card. I'll give it C. Maybe, no, I don't think it deserves to be. It's still cool. It's like cooler than most of the stuff in this tier, but it's not amazing. We have the Striaton trio. I do actually kind of like this card. It's very cool seeing them all together. B tier. I do like the, I forget, what's the Silent Chili Crest is like the exact name of the card. I just call it the Striaton trio because that's like the gym they're from. Clay here is one of my favorite recent additions. This is such a cool card. We're going to put this in A+. I absolutely love the Clay full art. It's a shame we never got it. Came in VMAX Climax. It just never came out over here. It's a great card, though. I actually own 4 of these in real life because they were very cheap to get a hold of. Coach Trainer here, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's a very boring card. Just give it C tier. Yeah, here we go. Copycat. This is the other Copycat full art. See, it's right next to this one. They're both the same character. Except for this one is illustrated, I believe, by... Is it Nishida that did this one? No, it's Mizutani, I believe, that did this one. Let me see. Just so I give proper credit where it's due. Copycat full art. It is... Mizutani. I was right the second time. Sorry. Yeah, this is an S tier supporter. It's one of the best full art supporters ever printed. It is gorgeous. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection, along with Caitlyn as well. I forgot to mention that. One of my favorite cards I own. This card is stunning. This is the prime example of what a full art trainer should be. It's fun, it's poppy, there's like multiple different moods going on for each of her transformations. Like, it kind of goofier side over here, and then it gets darker on the card when she's like, you know, cosplaying the Team Rocket Grunt. Stunning card. Opposite end of this, Crasher Wake is a very boring card. I like Crasher Wake as a gym leader, so it's a shame that they gave him a very meh card. Doesn't do anything for me, this card. Caitlyn Cynthia, I'm a little biased because Caitlyn is in the card. You may have noticed I like Caitlyn. But at max I can give it A tier. It's just not that exciting of a card, even though Caitlyn's there. And without Caitlyn, this would be like probably a B tier. Like, it's almost A+, just because of Caitlyn being there, but I can't, like, Global and Bryson Man's a cooler card. Oh, I love Caitlyn though. Yeah, I want to put it up there. I'm not going to. We have the Cynthia from Hidden Fates here, the one with her 3 shiny Pokemon, or 2 shiny Pokemon, my bad. I'm bad at counting. It's a B tier card. It's quite cool. I think the Garchomp looks pretty cool. I didn't even realize the Garchomp was shiny until I really thought about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's shiny, it doesn't change at all, so like that makes sense. Cynthia's kind of just a boring thinking pose though. In contrast to this one is A tier. I like this pose a lot better. I like the purple background in it a lot better than just the stark white. It's really personal preference, but I like this one a lot better. We have Dana here. The illustration on this one, like the coloring, is nice, and I like that all of the Hat Sisters all have like this striped background. Still only B tier though, I'd say this one. Dancer is just very random, not sure why this card exists. It's also a D tier, and it's not like a character that's like that cool either. Doctor, another really boring card that I can't think anyone would really want. D tier. Have Lisa Sparkle here. Lisa's another one of my favorite characters in the franchise. Incredible gym leader. When is Drayden getting a card? Drayden full art. I really want a Drayden card. Drayden's one of my favorite characters as well. Elisa, though, they kind of whiffed with this full art. It's not bad, but it's very, like, overly done. Like, you didn't need all these, like, weird loops and stuff around here. I guess that's, like, part of the Fusion Strike thing. It's not bad, though. A tier still. This had the potential to be better, though, in my opinion. They could have also used her Black and White 2 design, which I believe to be better. We have Erica's Hospitality, the reprint from VMAX Climax. This is another... Yeah, we're putting it in S. It's so good. Such a good card. It is so good. I wish we got it over here. It's like a $500 card in Japan. I'll never own it. In contrast, this one's pretty good as well. It's a little bit more of a static pose. I don't like it as much in that regard, but I do like the background. Erica's a very cool character. I think we can still give this an A tier, pretty solid, maybe even A+, but I don't think it deserves A+, so we'll put it in A. We have Evelyn here, another one of the Hat Girls. Like I said, they have the... If you put them right next to each other, you can see that they have like the same background. This one though is just a little bit better. I just like Evelyn better as a character maybe, but I do like the blues better here. So Evelyn can go in A. Do like that card quite a bit. Faba here has an incredibly boring background. I do like this card just because I use it in Expanded, but it's not getting on a C tier. This card is extremely boring. Faba's not that cool of a character either, so it doesn't really help. Fisherman from Hidden Fates. Another card that it's like, nobody wants to pull this. Why is it here? Why do we need a Fisherman full art? I don't know. I'd argue that the Fisherman from the Heart Gold Silver base set is the way to go if you play a Fisherman. It's quite a nice looking card. We have Flannery here. This one, is this done by Saito? I believe so. Naoki Saito. I should specify because there's two different Saitos, because there's Koki Saito. But, let me look. Flannery Pokemon card. I believe... No, this is Fusei. The colors look like Saito. I don't own this card though, so I guess it's natural I would mess it up. It's not a great card, but I do like the colors. B tier. Flannery's okay. This Gardenia is quite cool. I do like the card a lot. I like the pose that she's in, where she's kind of like stretching towards the camera, but also like jumping away from it. It's a very anime pose in that way, I suppose. Gardenia is a fun character too. Shout out to RuneGate on Twitter. A tier. This Giovanni is like infinitely better than this Giovanni, but not as good as this Giovanni. So this one's D tier, right? This one is A tier. I'd probably put this in B. It's still a pretty cool card. Did Tokia draw this? I think Tokia did draw that one. This Giovanni. Let me see. So if we do Giovanni's Exile. Let me look at images real quick. I believe this was Tokia. It was Tokia. They don't illustrate for the Pokemon TCG anymore, sadly. Great illustrations done by them. This one's great. Yeah, I wish they still illustrated for Pokemon. Very edgy, cool style. Here is, I believe, the Japanese promo Giovanni scheme. It's the same card as the one up here. This card is super sick. I don't think you can give this card any less than an A+. I wouldn't argue it as an S just because it's not my favorite kind of card, but like this, come on, guys, this card is so sick. I don't like Giovanni and I'm giving it that high. That says something. The card is cool. It's got the gold border. This came in a briefcase in Japan along with another, there's like a Jesse and James. Yeah, here we go. This one right here, also very colorful. This one I wouldn't give A+, this one I would give A. It's very colorful and cool, but it's not my number one. We have another Tokia full art right here, the Gladion. I love this card. It's gonna go in, kind of want to give it A+. We're gonna give it A+. It's just super edgy and cool. I like that the blue and red contrasting each other with like the purples mixed in, and Gladian's just there being a total edgy boy, as he should be. Have the regular Gordy right here. This one is not as exciting as the VMAX Climax print. Just kind of a C tier card, even though I like Gordy. It's just not as cool as this one right here. We have the green. Where did I put the blue with the Charmander? There it is. We're missing the red still. Because I believe it, yeah, it goes like this. And you can see that right there they're connecting, but the reds goes in the middle. This is another B tier card. Honestly, I don't love the artwork on this one, but it is cool that it connects together. Squirtle's looking pretty sick down there, and this is a cool pose if nothing else. We have Grimsley here. Grimsley is one I've warmed up to quite a bit. I purchased it right when the set came out, just because I thought it was really cool. I do like how he looks. He's a very tricksy guy. Can't give it A tier though. Can I? It's like almost A tier. Yeah, I like it better than everything in B tier, so I'm gonna give it A tier. It is very cool. I do like Grimsley as a character, so that helps a bit. Here is the Guzma from Burning Shadows. This one also gets A. Very colorful card. I was super excited when I pulled this, and then I proceeded to sell it because it was really expensive at that time. Very cool card. I like the kind of finger guns he's got going on the side, like he's calling the shots, quite literally. Guzma Hollow here is a pretty cool tag team supporter full art. Don't love it, but it's not bad. We'll give it a B tier as well. Guzma right here with the crossed out X. A little bit less cool than the Guzma up here, but it's still a B tier card. Guzma right here is another Japanese sealed tournament promo along with the Acerola, and there's another Lily that was given out with it. It's a pretty cool card, but it's not as good as the original Guzma either, so it goes in B. Have Hala here. I love the background on this card, even though it's kind of like a boring card. Other than that, Hala's not like a super cool character, so it definitely deserves B though, just because of the sick background with him kind of transposed on it. With Hapu here, I actually do own this card. Another VMAX Climax card we never did get, unfortunately. Goes in B tier. It's not like that thrilling of a card, but it is cool at the very least. I do like Hapu as a character, and it's a cool card at the very least when you do own it. Hao is just kind of cool. I like Raichu. Doesn't really do much for me, but I can't give it B tier because everything in B tier is cooler than it. It really just does fit in C tier. Hiker, I don't know why this card exists. I never want to pull this card if it was in a pack. D tier. Almost F tier even. Yeah, we'll put it in F tier. This is like one of those cards where it's just like, why does it even exist? It's just a random trainer class that's not very likable. Is this Honey her name is? This card's like D tier as well. I would not want to pull this out of a pack. It's a very boring card, very boring character in my opinion. I just don't really understand it. We have this Hop card here. I don't like Hop as a character, but this pose is cool. I like the card, so why not? We'll give it that. Ilima here is another card that it's like, this doesn't need to exist. Give it D tier. Almost F, honestly. This card is just pointless. We have Ingo and Emmett here. Very cool card of very cool characters. I like the way that they're pointing at there, and you can see a railroad in the background. We're going to give it A. It's cooler than everything else in B, so I have to give it A. I quite like it. We have Janine here. I like that's kind of like a goofy little, kind of like a Moe Ninja vibe going to this thing where it's got like the little like chopped log in the background and all that. It's not my favorite card in the world, but it was cool enough where I did buy it back when it was cheap. We'll give it a B tier. We have Jasmine here. This one's really striking. The pose is super cool. The background, which is kind of the gears, is simple but does the job perfectly well. This is one I'm actually going to give an A+. It's one of my favorite ones in my collection. I display it on my front page, so it's very cool. We have the Jesse James and Meowth one from Hidden Fates. This one is absolutely great. I believe Mizutani did this one too. Just gonna check on that just so I don't... I should stop mentioning artists, but like I want to give artists credit for their work, so... Jesse James full art, and I believe it was Mizutani. It was Mizutani. This card is super fun, super hectic. It's a perfect card if you were to make a card about Team Rocket. Almost A+. Do I put it A+? Yeah, it's better than everything in A. This is like an A+ card. You can't really hate this card. I love it. This Judge is a little bit less cool than Judge over here. I like how the Japanese translation of Judge is literally Judgeman. They just call him Judgeman. This one's less cool though than the one right here, so we'll put it in C. This card is boring. Like this one, Kabu already like wasn't like rocking this card much. The card is boring. This is an F tier card. I would never want to pull this out of a pack. We have Kahili here. I was actually really excited to pull this when it came out, even though it's like a garbage card competitively. It's just a very nice card. I'll give it A. I like Kahili as a character. I like she's like golfing in that. It's pretty cool. Might not deserve that high, but the art's just really clean. I like it. We have Karen's Conviction. This card looks cool. The background is cool. So it's kind of like the same thing as Hala, where it's like it got a really cool background, but I don't really care about the character or the card itself. We have Kiawe here kind of surging through the flames. Kiawe was a pretty sick full art. I don't like the card itself. It goes in B tier though, definitely. We have Clara here. Clara, this card's background is kind of boring. I do like Clara. I was really attached to my TCGO version of it because I used it in a bunch of decks. I'm gonna give it B tier. It might be like A to A-, but like it's not as cool as anything in A tier, so I can't give it A tier. We have Koga's Trap here. This card's cool. It's got a cool pose, but the background is like kind of just eh. Give it C tier. Doesn't really strike me. This is Karina's Focus. This card's very cool. Very cool looking. I'm gonna give... Yeah, we'll put B tier. This is kind of like a B+. I kind of want to make a separate little aggro above. Like A- / B+. Or B+. And this is like where Clara and Kiawe, like these last few go. Kiawe does not go there. Kind of just the best ones of here would go, I'd say, into A-, B+. They're just a little bit better than the ones here, but like they're not as good as the ones up here. And I think we'd move Keeley down there, Grimsley down there. Yeah, and that looks pretty good. So like we kind of need an extra tier there, because things got a little hectic. Because there's a little too much, like some of these were like low B, some of these were like high B kind of deal in there. We have Lana Full Art, one of my favorite full art trainers. The artwork isn't anything to write home about. It's a personal connection. Personally, I have a really off-cut print of it. I'm gonna put it in A+. It's one of my favorites. Like the off-cut just gets even. The fishing rod just keeps going. By the way, like it just keeps going on the card. Like there's no left border on mine. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection. I do own 2 of it. Pulling the miscut version though was like a really cool moment for me. Leon Full Art. This card is incredibly boring. C tier. Doesn't really do anything for me, but it doesn't even have like a... Honestly, D tier, because I was looking up here and I'm like, at least Bruno and Brock, they look like cool poses, and like you have Raihan, who has like at least a colorful background. This is none of those. We have Lily's Full Force here. This card is stunning. Dream League is such a good set. I don't own the Japanese version of it. We're going to put it in A+. I love this card. It's so good. We have... Oh, we're just doing all the Lilies in a row? Sure, why not? The Lily Japanese promo. This card is like a $20,000 card from what I remember. It's very pretty. I wish we got it in English so that I could actually own it. Also A+. And then we have the Lily from Sun and Moon. Boring background on this one, but I just really like the, I like Lily with the hat on better than Lily without the hat, and I like the pose, so, again, A+, getting a lot of A+ recently. And then the Naoki Saito Lily from Ultra Prism. One of my biggest regrets in the TCG is this was $25 when it was like not that playable, and I chose not to buy it, and now it's several $100s. I regret that with all of my life. It was the only one in Ultra Prism I didn't own, so I was gonna buy it to complete the collection too. This card is S tier. This is like, it's beyond. Like the background is so colorful and the pose is so cute. Shoot, I need to get some dudes up here. There's got to be some cool dudes in there, huh? I'm sure we'll find a dude or two eventually that fit in S, but it's just one of the best full art sword I've ever printed. This one I understand a little bit less. Lizia is like another super expensive one. It's an okay card. It's like a B tier card. It's colorful. Lizia's okay, but like doesn't do anything for me personally. Looker here, I love this card. It's got the red and blue like sirens, and he's sitting up against the wall having a snack. Like, I mean, my dude is a snack. Put him in A-, B+. Almost, honestly, A. I really like the card. Lusamine here. This one's a little simple, but I do like it still. It's another A-, B+. Lusamine's a cool character. This pose is like very embracing, and then you just have the batshit insane Lusamine right here. This one's a lot better. Pulled this one from a pack, so it helps. A tier, almost even A+. It's like super kind of crazy looking. We have Mallow here with the her little spool, just kind of pointing at the camera. It's a cool card. I like that the pings on it. It just doesn't do anything for me really above B tier. Mallow and Lana, kind of a very boring card. C tier, doesn't really do anything for me. I have the original Marnie, A-, B+. I do like this card, but it's very kind of staticky. You're not going to see many staticky cards above like, again, above like this tier. You're not going to see like many like staticky, like just standing there doing nothing cards, but this one's okay. It kind of had that be that way though, because at the beginning of the Sword and Shield era, they weren't really sure what they were doing with the new style of full art supporter, because during the Sun and Moon era, they gave a lot of like ambiguous, just colored backgrounds, right? So you ended up with this absolutely wonderful card, where when the Sword and Shield era started, they started giving them like fully drawn backgrounds. So the trade-off of that is that the first few are going to be a little bit more awkward. This Marnie, on the other hand, is absolutely A tier. Great looking card. Very colorful. The blues and the pinks and the purples work really well. She's doing her best in this pose. It's very cool. Mars in this one is very cool. Very evil looking. I quite like it. Gonna give that an A tier as well. Almost even A+. It's like near the top of like A tier kind of deal. I really like this card. We have Melanie here. This one's really boring because like the other Melanie was already like not that good, and then this one's like even worse. D tier. Milo here as well. The other one, like the VMAX Climax one's at least got a pose, so that this one's just kind of standing there. This card Mina is great in Japanese. If you ever get the chance to pick up a Japanese print, absolutely do. It's an A+ because of the Japanese print. The art is like not that amazing, but like the texturing and everything around the card is just insane in Japanese. Alrighty, so continuing on, did a little cut there. I'm going to try to work a little bit faster. We're only about halfway-ish done with the supporters here, so when the ones are just not good, I'll just tell you which ones are not good. Misty's Favor's okay. Background doesn't really get me. Don't really care that much about Misty. C tier. Molayne here. I like Molayne as a character. They just gave him a really boring card and a really boring full art. Go ahead and throw that in C tier as well. We have one of the other Hat Girls. This one's my least favorite, but it's still a B tier full art supporter. It's definitely worse than Dana, not as good as Evelyn. We have Morty here. Morty is okay. He is kind of cool. I like the pose he's doing here. I used to own this card. I kind of regret selling it because it was only worth like $4 anyway. I want to give it B tier. I almost want to give it like A, but it's not as cool as A. It's kind of like Zinnia, where it's got a really cool pose, but like my card doesn't do much for me. Nano here is a little bit less exciting, kind of just a boring pose. I do like the character though. C tier. The background just really boring on this one. Honestly, no, D tier. I'm like thinking like it's like very much like Alistair, where the character's fine, but the pose not so much. This is the better Nessa. The other Nessa obviously got put in D tier because it's really boring. This one's really colorful and blue and white, and I like that. Got a better pose. B tier. Here's Nita, the final of the Hat trio or quadruples. This one's better than Morgan, but like same as like Dana, but not as good as Evelyn. So put there. Where did Evelyn go? Oh yeah, Evelyn's up here. Evelyn should go right there. There we go. We have N's Resolve full art. This is a card I still do not own. I very much regret not owning it. It's a very cool card. We're gonna give it. I can't give it more than that because it's not as good as some of the other ones up here. But like this is a really good looking card. I really like it. Oleana, one of the early Sword and Shield full art supporters that just looks really boring. Oleana's also like a completely terrible character in the games. Her only redeeming factor is Garbodor, because I like Garbodor. F tier. Really bad. Have Olivia here. This one I'm a little bit more liking because I pulled it, but I don't really like Olivia as a character, nor is the full art that good. Yeah, I'm like looking at Nessa, and they're both similar in like background. They're both you know, darker skinned characters, and like Nessa's just like way cooler than Olivia in this full art at least. In the games I could care less about either of them. Raihan's the true king around here, but Opal is one of the worst porters ever conceived. If you pull this from a pack, you are probably crying. I pulled 3 of these and 2 rainbow rares from a pack out of Vivid Voltage. I hate this card with a burning passion. I'm not going to see too many cards down here. Peonia, the background's really boring. The character's okay. The effect's cool, but like, honestly, D tier. I just don't really love the card. Like the art just doesn't really do much for me. Peony, on the other hand, look at this dude. He's so cool. He's like ready to go. Gonna give him B tier. He's got a very cool pose. Like, yeah, let's go. I like that guy. We have Piers here. This Piers I'm actually not that big of a fan of. C tier, it's alright. This one is a little bit better. This one I'm going to give B tier. Kind of a static pose, but it has a cool background, and it makes sense that it's more static when he's just singing. This is the Plumeria. I like the background in this, but the card and the character don't do anything for me. C tier. Pokemaniac. This card's goofy, but it's not good. So like D tier. This card is horrible. I like Yamper, but like another NPC trainer class that did not need a supporter card. F tier. Have Center Lady here, the reprint version from Vivid Voltage. I wish I pulled this instead of Opal. This is a nice B tier. I wouldn't give it an A. It doesn't have as cool of a pose as like any of these, or not as cool of a card as any of those. So yeah, fine with B tier. This card is a little bit better. This is Pokemon Fan Club. It's again another like not really care about. I don't really care about them kind of NPC trainer class, but they at least did this card a little bit justice. It's at least very cute. I like the little Pichu costume, and I like the Bonsly doll. It can go in C tier. I did pull this card. I regret selling it. At one point I sold it. Pokemon Ranger. This card is very cool, very green looking, which is fitting because they're like Rangers of Nature. It's sadly not the Ranger from the actual Ranger series video games. I love those games. I wish they paid more attention to them. We haven't gotten a game since 2010. It's been 12 years. This card, though, goes in B tier. I quite like it. Elm's Lecture here. This card is sick. Man, I love this card. It's got the 3 Johto starters on it. They're like jumping out of his hands and he's like losing control. It's very Elm thing. They have a lot of character them. He gives a lot of character, and I love orange cards. A lot of times those will get to me. This one is, yeah, I'm going to put it A+, honestly. It's just really good. I was really excited to buy that a couple of years ago. We have Kukui here. This one has an orange background, so you may be thinking like, oh, S tier. It's not that cool, though. They could have done better with Kukui. I would have loved like a thing of like him and Rockruff, kind of like the character rare. This card's just okay. It's B tier. Honestly, C tier, yeah. Oak Setup. This card is incredibly boring. I mean, if you have nostalgia, I get why you could like this card. I don't have the nostalgia for Gen 1, though. Seeing him run 3 Pokeballs and doing literally nothing else doesn't do anything for me. D tier. Professor's Research Magnolia is among the worst full art supporters of all time. It's again the perfect example of early Sword and Shield cards being very static portraits of the characters. This card is also the worst Professor's Research by a country mile and a half. Why would you play this card? I don't know. It's one of the worst full art supporters of all time. I have Red and Blue. I don't really like the Red character design, the redesign of Red that we got. This card's okay. I like the red and green contrasts. I'm gonna give it B tier, but like just this red right here this is the one that fits in the middle right here. That's what I was talking about. Come on, there we go. See how it makes a like picture with them 3 together. I do like the card in that regard. This red, though, doesn't really do much for me besides the background. The pose is at least decent. I'll give it this, and I'm going to degrade this. I just don't like this one. Like, I'm thinking these reds are just better than this one, so I'm going to degrade this one and give this one the pass. Roller Skater, another kind of NPC class that I didn't really care that much about. The full art's okay, but doesn't do anything. Rosa, there's a big one. Rosa is an amazing looking full art supporter that I'm going to... It's better than everything in A+, in my opinion. We have to give it S. It's one of my favorite full art supporters. Just a gorgeous card. I absolutely love it. I'm glad I was able to get both Japanese and English before they became very expensive cards. It's a very fun thing. The background doesn't do too much, but it's very poppy. It's very fitting for her. She's got a cool pose. This is a card that any Pokemon fan I think would like to own. It's also a great card and competitive at 1 point. We have right here the Rose full art, another very static card. Rose is like not that likable, D tier, and this one is a little bit less bad, but it's also just Rose in like really goofy clothes. They tried to like pass him off as comic relief when he's like supposed to be the main villain, so like it's almost F tier honestly, because like this one's worse artwork wise, but like I'd want to pull this one even less because like Shining Fates has like the Skyla, the Pokekid, the what's the other ones from Shining Fates? I know there's one other one I'm missing that's pretty good. I'll show. I guess I'll mention it when I get there. There's like 3 different ones from Shining Fates that are pretty good. This is not one of them. We have the Roxy full art. This one I'm very attached to, I bought it, another VMAX Climax card we did not get in English, but I bought a Japanese copy. This one goes in A. It's not too special in regards to full art trainers. It's a very passable card, but I like Roxy a lot as a character. She's very energetic in this, and it has a little poison in the background, kind of like her gym does, to kind of just paint it on the wall. It's a very fun card to use in the game too. It's one of my favorite supporters of the late Sun and Moon era. We have Sabrina's Suggestion. This is a card I wish I owned. I wish I picked it up when it was like $5. I didn't though. It's very cool artwork wise. I'm gonna give it an A-. I like the psychic powers going on. It's a card I wish I owned. Shauna here. Don't like the artwork on this one. It's the Shauna, original Shauna full art from the XY Premium Trainers collection. This one's not anything to write home about. The background's okay. Character, I don't like Shauna at all. C tier. We have Sydney here. Sydney is pretty sick, stroking his mohawk, but the card itself doesn't do anything much for me. So we're gonna give it B tier. I like Sydney, I just don't think the background does anything. Sydney's a cool character though. We have Cybold here. This card's a little bit dynamic. Again, these rapid strike ones tend to at least be decent. I can't give it C tier. It's gonna go in B tier. It's another one where it's like, it's a cool card, but the background kind of just wipes off. Sightseer, another VMAX Climax card. This is essentially a holy grail in the Japanese VMAX Climax, along with Erica. Or not VMAX, like Tag All-Stars. Sorry if I've been mispronouncing that. This card rocks. I wish I owned it. I'm gonna be real with you, this card is A+, very pretty card, very fitting for the character. I love that card. I wish I owned it. Have the Skyla from Shining Fates. This card is quite nice. Not as good as the other Skylas, but still a very good B tier card. We have the Skyla from Breakpoint, where she's like doing that stretch that everyone seems to like. I wonder why. Couldn't tell you. We're gonna put that. It's actually a box topper in Japan. I didn't know that for. It's a Blue Flash or Blue Impact, Red Flash. I think what the sets are in Japan. I'm gonna give it an A-. It's another very cool card. I can understand why a lot of people like that. Sonya, another great one. Kind of a boring pose, but the background is very cool. The art's very pretty. I'm gonna do A- on that. Sophocles, this card's got a cool background, but Sophocles himself is kind of not doing anything for me, so we're gonna give it a C. You can't live on background alone. We have Steven here. This one's got a cool background, again, with like the stones behind him. He's in a cave somewhere. Do like this card quite a bit. It's one of the first ones I bought getting back into the game in 2016 because it was very cool. Put it in A-. Steven Resolve, this one, I like the card because don't get me wrong, I play this in so many decks, but it's such a boring full art, man. There's no background. There's literally none. He's just standing there. I can't give it lower than C though. It's just so boring. Like, they should have done more with the background. There's a lot to work with Steven. He's the Hoenn champion, so. Tate and Liza, this card's kind of cool. Give it B tier. I like it. I just don't love it. Team Rocket's Handiwork's one of my least favorite cards to play in PCGO because it's about 1% chance that you flip heads with this card. It's not amazing. It goes in C. It's like a pretty forgettable card. We have Team Skullgrunt. This card, on the other hand, very vibrant. I love the Team Skull card backgrounds. And they're doing these goofy poses. This is like a... Yeah, we'll give this A right next to Guzma. Very much deserved. Very cool poses. Very vibrant backgrounds. I love these guys. Very excited when I got that in when Sun and Moon came out. Have Team Yellgrunt. These guys are kind of just goofers. I don't like them much. The card's okay. D. Master Royale. This is another card we never got. A sealed promo exclusive from Japan. Another like $10,000 card. But it doesn't really do anything. Card's just kind of okay. C. We have TV Reporter, another cool full art from the Celestial Storm set of reprints of older cards. This one in particular, it's okay. C tier. We have the Ultra Recon Squad from Forbidden Light. This card I really like because it's got all the blues on it. The Ultra Recon Squad is also quite cool. I'm glad they picked the better pair to be the full art in the set, because I really don't care about the Ultra Moon pair of Ultra Recons, but this one, they had a good dynamic in the games. We're going to give that one a B tier. It's almost like an A-. Yeah, honestly, I want to give it A-. It's very cool looking, the blues and all that. Have Underground Expedition, another Celestial Storm reprint of an older card. Underground Expedition, if you know anything about me, it's one of my favorite supporter cards of all time. This full art factors into that greatly, as well as the original print. This one gets an A+. It's just so cool. Leave every single art of Underground Expedition is done by Kagemaru Himeno. Kagemaru Himeno, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. They go by Himemaru on Twitter. Just a very, very pretty card. The original one is also very pretty. The Rising Rivals print is also very pretty. I love the card. Volkner here, kind of a boring looking card, honestly. Like, background's okay, but Volkner's just kind of there. I would have thought it was cool if he was like moping around a little more. C tier. Wally, this one has like no background. Wally's just kind of there. I don't like Wally. C tier. We have the Weldador right here. The male welder from Tag All-Stars that we did not get. This guy's kind of a Chad, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Dude, this guy's cool. I don't love the card, but it's pretty cool. And then we have the Weldadora. I remember this was like a big deal in Japan when this came out. Because like the welder on its regular art doesn't have anyone, you can't see who it is, but then when it lifts the helmet and it's like, oh my god, that's like you know, that's like a pretty woman, that people were like, yo, that was pretty insane. Definitely a big Japan moment there. Go ahead and throw that into A-. I quite like the card. The background though is kind of just doesn't do anything. If it had a cooler background it would be higher, but I do like orange. I regret selling my Whitneys. I sold them for 20 bucks a piece though, because they blew up in price. Bought them for like 3 bucks a piece. It's a very nice card. A-. I used to play this in my funny Miltank deck. We have Wick. This card's really boring. The background looks okay. Wick is just kind of there though. We're gonna give it C. We have Will here from Tag All-Stars, another card we did not get in English. This card is pretty, but doesn't do anything much for me besides that. We'll give it B tier. It's like kind of like a lower end B. I don't want to add any more tiers though, honestly, at this point. We have Winona here. I do like this card. The pose is very cool. The sky background works perfectly for the character. Gonna give this one an A-. Zinnia here, the original Zinnia, a lot less cool of a pose than the Zinnia's Resolve. Background's a lot lamer than Zinnia's Resolve. Just kind of give it a C. We have Acerola, the print from Burning Shadows. This card is not that great, honestly. I don't love it. It's very boring. It's kind of like Wally, we're just kind of there. We have Archie's Ace in the Hole. This card doesn't do much for me. I was never an Archie's player. Archie's players would probably rank this S. For me, it's just a C. I like Maxie's a lot more. I guess the pose is like decent, but like it's not enough to give it B. It's like a higher C. AZ here, another very boring full art supporter. Doesn't really do much for me. The character neither. C. And here's where we get to look back at this loser Lysander full art, and then look at this incredible Ken Sugimori Lysander full art. I love this, where he's taking up like most of the card. His red hair is perfectly for the perfect for the red background. This card is top tier. Do I give it S? It's like right there. It's like, I got it. It's so good. This is like the best full art supporter from like the XY era, like the whole era. This is so good. Ken Sugimori's full art supporters are good. I wish he'd do more of them. Like, he did this one. He did Giovanni's Scheme, another great one. He did Professor Research Oak, another good one. Lysander's Trump card. This one's a little bit less cool. Just kind of going his crazy mode in here. I like it better than these two because it's got a cooler background and more action going on. So we'll give it B. Misty's Determination. This card's okay. I like the gold border. The card doesn't do much else for me though. C. Misty and Lorelei, the art on this one's really good. Another Tag All-Stars card that we did not get in English. Just kind of give this a B. I do like the art on it. It's just the background kind of just doesn't exist. Professor Birch, this one's kind of plain C. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Have Professor Sycamore here. This one's really good. I love the background. I love the professor just having the starter Pokemon in the card, and he's like tripping and falling the paper. It's very similar to Elm, though Elm has got a lot going on in that card. We're gonna put it in A minus. A. We're gonna put it in A. I quite like it. We have the bad Rapid Strike Mustard, the one that's less exciting, C. Have Schoolgirl. It's better than Schoolboy, but like barely. D tier. We have the Shauna by Yu Nishida, the reprint from Fusion Strike. This card is very cute. I put it in one of my decks because I was like, sure, Shauna, why not? It's not good, but B tier. I quite like it. It's got a very pretty card. Yu Nishida does great work. We have the good Single Strike Mustard, the one done by Mitsuhiro Rita. This card is very raw. I can't give it less than a B, but honestly I think it deserves an A minus. This card looks sick. It's better than the other Mitsuhiro Rita Full Art Supporter. Which Mitsuhiro Rita did more Full Art Supporters? We have the original Bianca here. I believe Kaneko Ao did this again. Kaneko Ao did a lot of the black and white Full Art Supporters. This one is great. Just a very cute card. I own it. It's one of my prize collections. Like, thankfully I got it for it exploded in price. A+. It's a great card. Oh, absolutely love it. We have Bonnie here. Come on, man. This card sucks. Come on, man. This sucks, bro. Dude. There's like probably 5 Bonnie fans out there, and they probably also have a they're probably registered on a certain database, but yeah. Here is Cheryl. I quite like this card. I believe this is also Yu Nishida. This is a card I don't own yet. Want to own it. We're gonna put it in A. It's almost A+, though. It's really good. Like the top of A is like Mars, Marnie, Cheryl, and like Sycamore probably. Maybe Getsus and Team Skullgrunt could go a little higher too. Diantha here. This card's very pink. I do like that. Doesn't really do much else for me though. Diantha's a pretty lame character in the games, and it's just C tier. We have Karina here. This card is dynamic as all hell. I love the pose. Karina's never been my favorite character in the games. XY kind of just didn't really have good characters, but still a very cool card. I can't give this any less than A-. Just such a cool pose. It's got really good lighting on it with the Mega Ring darkening everything else. I like that. Lady, this card is boring. Like, dude, it's so boring. I don't like it. It's like an expensive card in Japan too, funny thing. Crazy how there's differences. Oh, do we come back to this? This is the big one. No, we're just doing it. N Full Art by Ken Sugimori is the best Full Art supporter of all time. If I were to rank the tier, by the way, it ranks like this. This is like my ranking of the best Full Art supporters of all time. N Full Art is the best Full Art supporter of all time. The first ever Full Art supporter. They peaked. They have never gotten that high since. Caitlin's their closest. Dry. Copycat was really good too. As was this Erica and this Lily. I think I'll switch those around, yeah. Yeah, N Full Art is the best Full Art supporter of all time. Undebatably. It's like the coolest pose in any of them. The background where he's like, where it's like the lightning coming out is like referencing the games where Team Plasma's like all their intros have like lightning, and especially N's. Like, this is like the decisive battle N pose. Like, oh my god, this card is so sick. I've owned it for like 10 years now. One of my favorite cards in my collection. I own a couple copies. I need a 4th one still. Oh my god, that's so good. Team Flaregrunt here. This card's kind of just okay. Doesn't do much for me with the background. I don't like Team Flare much, so it goes there. We have Teammates, another excellent card. Um, I gotta give it A+. I was thinking about S because it's my other favorite one of the X and Y era. This and Lysander are my favorite ones of the X and Y era. It's such a cute card. It's very cool. It was the first full art supporter I bought after getting back into the game. And it's a great card too. I love how one's like super energetic and like holding onto the other's arm, and the other one's super flustered. Like, that's so cool. Really wish they would have give it a cool background with that too, more colorful. Sharon full art here, another great one. I love the black and white full arts. The blue works well here, and it's the background texturing is cubed, which I like. We can put that in A tier. It's another great one. People really underrate Sharon full art. It's one of my favorites of the era. Black and white just didn't really have any misses, though, to be fair. So we have Maxi here. This card is a lot better than Archie, in my opinion, artwork-wise. You could say they look the same. For me, it's the oranges, the reds. Maxi is a cooler character too. Gonna rate it A tier. This one is very boring. The background is nice, but like, battle reporter, why? This one's quite cool. This Phoebe, B tier. I like it. It's very colorful. It's almost like an A-. It's like top of this tier for that reason, but like, I wouldn't put it any higher than B. We have the original Kanako AO Juniper from back in the day. This one from Plasma Freeze. It's a classic. I don't think it has as good of art as the new reprint, but it is such a classic card. I absolutely love it in that regard. I can't rate it higher though, just because the art is very simple, the background's very simple, but like, it just does everything right for like a black and white era supporter. We have Skyla, another black and white era one, the Kanako AO supporter. We're gonna give that A tier. Yeah. Like I said, black and white just didn't have any misses with the full art supporters. Every single one was good. And then Flashfire came out, and that still continued because Center Lady was still pretty good, and Lysander was incredible. And then Furious Fist released, and then they had the first miss, and then from then on out, they just kept making misses for a while. Here is, well, actually Flashfire had this, which is like not that great, so I guess that there's their first miss. This one's alright, B tier, not bad. I think it's worse than the newer one though. The newer one has a cooler background. This one's kind of plain. We have the Pokemon Fan Club. I like this just about as much as the other fan club, and I think the other fan club's in this tier. Is it one above? No, it's gotta be here somewhere, right? It's like a C tier. It's nothing too special. Yeah, here it is. These two are about the same. They're very cute, but I like this one a little bit better. We have Delinquent. This card's very cute, with the Mightyena rubbing up against the Delinquent, who's like totally embarrassed about it. B tier. Green's Exploration. This one's background is really sick. The card's kind of staticky, otherwise it could get a little bit higher. A-. Hex Maniac. This card is sick. From the XY Premium Trainers Collection, another one of those. This one, A+. I love this card. It's very dark. She's like ghouly. Her smile is very creepy. Love that. We have Karen full art from the XY Premium Trainers Collection. This one just kind of sucks, man. I don't like Karen, and that pose is lame. And come on, man, that's a lame card. We have Detective Yotsuda, I think his name was, something like that. Matsuda, maybe. Sorry, I don't remember the Detective Pikachu movie that well. This card sucks. Like, I get it. It's like a 3D real. I don't like it though. It's just worse than all these other ones. Besides, I'd rank it like this. Yeah, those are like the 4 worst ones. We have N here, the Mizutani, and a lot of people love this card from the XY Premium Trainers Collection. I think it's just okay. It's not as good as this end. This end's better by a long shot. This one's okay. It's a very cool card. It's a thirst trap card too, so that's why it's very expensive. We have Adamant here. This card doesn't really do a lot for me in the background, but I do like Adamant as a character. I can't give it anything less than a B due to that, but like, It's pretty low B, honestly. Choi. This card is like really boring. Doesn't really do anything. It's okay. Gardenia. This is the last N Murikura full art, unless I'm missing one. Same person who did Caitlyn, same person who did the Aroma Lady. This card is similarly excellent. I'm going to put it in A-. It could be even higher, honestly. Like, I feel bad not putting it higher, but this one is not as good as Aroma Lady and definitely not as good as Caitlyn, so we'll put it there. We have Grant here. This one's quite cool. I like that he's on the rock while he's reaching towards the camera. This card's actually like pretty sick. For a character I don't like at all, I'm going to give it B tier. We have Irida. Irida's quite cool. This was missing Iris? It is missing Iris. There's no Iris here. I was just looking. I was like, huh, where is Iris? So I wonder if there's missing any more. Maybe not too many, I suppose. Irida's okay. B tier. Doesn't do anything much for me. Zissou is pretty boring. D tier, honestly. I don't like it. This berry by Yu Nishida is very colorful, very cool. Got a very Route 1 feeling. I like that. A-, very nice. This Sharon's a lot more boring than the other Sharon. The background's a lot worse than the other Sharon. It's not bad, it's just... it's a B tier. We have Silene here. I like Silene as a character in the game. I like Silene. The full art and the effect is pretty cool, but it's not like anything above B tier. Cynthia here, I believe this is Mizutani that did this. Cynthia, this one's an A-. It's a lot cooler than some of the other Cynthia poses, but like the background is just kind of non-existent, so it's up to you how you feel about that. Kamado, it's not bad, just kind of... So my camera cut. Kamado I put in C. It's not as cool as Silene, but it's not bad at all. Kindler here has got an okay background, but like nothing else going for it, so C as well. Marnie's Pride, I love this card. It's very colorful, it's very cute. If you like Marnie, you're going to like this card. Effect's kind of bad. I can't give it A+, though. Like, I'm like, ooh, I like Marnie. Marnie's cute. I like this card, but like, not, like, these are all better. My man Clay is go, bro. Look at that card. I love Clay Fuller. Roseanne's backup. This is a card I was really excited about. It's not the Roseanne's Research reprint I've been asking for years, but it's still very cool. A-. The art is very simple, but I like Roseanne. It's a little bit of a bias thing there. This Roxanne's kind of simple, but it's also not bad in any way, so B tier. I don't hate it at all. So that finishes the supporters we have on this page. Iris was not on this page. I might have missed like one or two others that it cut off. This isn't my tier list. Shout out to whoever made it right here. I'm not going to endorse them or say go follow them on Twitter because I don't know what they believe in, but shout out to the person who made the tier list. If I were to rank Iris, Iris would be probably A or A+. I'd have to decide between A or A+. It might be A+, though. It's a fantastic looking card. Great card. I absolutely love it. I'm going to move on to the ones that were not on the tier list from the newer sets. This is Dark Phantasma. This Volo card is definitely like an A tier to A-. I'd probably put an A-. Volo's super sick. Just love the character. I would have loved if we got a Volo that was like not his final form, and then like the V-Star universe coming up if we got one that was his final form in V-Star universe. But still cool. Iscan, this card is... like, Iscan's a cool character. I liked him in the game, so I was kind of like afraid of everything, but like... this card doesn't really do it for me. He looks a lot like... if any of you have read Spirit Circle, great manga. He looks a lot like the one friend of the main character, the way he's got the big nose and the slanty eyes. That's like the main like traits of the one character after he gets reincarnated in every life. You see the big nose, slanty eyes, so it's like this is almost like a reincarnation of that character. No one's probably read Spirit Circle who's watched this far in the video, if anyone's watched this far. It's an okay card. I don't love it though. It's like okay, that background just... So my computer is having even more issues. I really like this Arazu though. Very, very cute card. If I were to open up Dark Phantasma, this is almost the only card I want in the set that's like an ultra rare. Most of the other ones in the set aren't that great. Other than the Volo, I like Volo too. This card's really cool though. The background's very red. She's in that one desert kind of bog place in the game. I want this card in English very bad. A tier. We have the Misfortune Sisters. I like this because they're all together. They're all in the volcano part of the game where they show up. They're a very goofy gang. I think I'd give it like A- to B+. I like them quite a bit. And yes, this is the last of the Dark Phantasma full arts. Next we'll move on to the Pokemon Go full arts. D tier. I don't like the character. These like Tumblr, Reddit designs that in Pokemon Go don't sell me anything. The character pose is like not particularly that interesting. The background's not that interesting. You can put the best artists in the Pokemon TCG to work and you still can't make me like Pokemon Go characters. Have another one. This one is just like, it's colorful at least, so like I gotta give it C tier because it is better than the last one, but like I still hate it. It's not good. D tier still. This one's okay. It's better. C tier. Willow's at least a little bit more likable. Yeah, this card sucks, bro. I love the background on it too, but like the character is so lame, bro. Pokemon Go is so lame. I don't like Pokemon Go as a set. The video game is okay. F tier. Like the background is so pretty, but like you're putting like imagine drawing the Mona Lisa and then like painting a giant dumpster on it. That's what we got right here. We have Chorus's Experiment here, much better. A tier, great looking card. I do want this in my collection. Lady, it's better than the other Lady because there's at least some background going on, but it's not great. I'd probably give it a B tier. This Thornton, I love Thornton. He's in the Battle Factory, checking his phone. Another B tier, very cool. Fantina, I like the background on this one. Characters doesn't do much for me. Again, like a B tier, and that's the last of the Lost Abyss. Now we have the Incandescent Arcana, the newest set in Japan. This Serena is a very nice looking card. A-. I don't really even like Serena, but it's like a great illustration by Mizutani here. Good luck buying it though, $400. This one's okay. I like the illustration. I like the autumny colors. Probably A- again. And then this card is F. If I pull this from my box of Incandescent Arcana I'm getting, I will actually vomit. This is one of my least favorite full art supporters of all time. So regarding that, here is the tier list that I spent an hour and a half creating. Do you want to see more tier list videos? Maybe not this long, hopefully, next time. Then please remember to leave a like on the video. And check out my other, deck profiles, my tabletop gameplay, and all that other stuff I waste my life creating. Thank you all so much for watching.